And the first of the two intermediate football semi-finals is between the Duffry Rovers and St Anne's. We'll go to Brian first for his predictions on this game.
Yeah, it's a tough enough one to call, but I was on the commentary for the Anne's quarter-final against Timon, and they looked impressive. They probably could have won by a bigger margin. They had a couple of goals disallowed. Big, strong men, a couple of Rochfords, Doc around the middle of the field. Dio, there's plenty of good footballers there. But the Duffry, I see there, you see the names coming back into the fray. Fitzhenry's, Rafters, and once you see them names on a Duffry team sheet, they're going to have a bit about them as well. But I haven't seen the Anns in the quarter final. I'd give them the nod.
And Colm, how do you see the game going? Duffry Rovers and St Anne's.
I watched the Duffry's game last weekend now, and it was, they gave up an awful lot of possession around the middle of the field to the Fintons, and that's going to be a vital area they need to improve on this week, because the Anns are packed with talent in that area. They're very physical. They'll drop back the Dock to make Stephen Watchorn won't have as much space to work in as what he did last week. Johnny Flynn O'Connor was rolling back the years. He was excellent here. He was nearly unmarkable, scoring 6 points I think from play last week. But the Duffry have a bit about them too. They're well able to play football. I think being in Wexford Park will suit the Duffry a bit more. They'll be able to move the older Anns guys further around the field. If they can transition nice and quickly before the Anns can get their sweepers back, as they say, that'll reap benefits. But the Anns look very impressive now against Timon. Dio and Lee Moog are really hungry for the ball. The Rochfords were hungry for the ball. And Mark Furlong, he really stepped up to the plate. He had a lot of possessions the last day. So, I'd probably give a hesitant nod to the Anns. I think that they're really hungry to get back senior, and if they get a good start, I think, they could be 4 or 5 points in this game at the end.
And David, just as Colm mentioned there, St Anne's hungry to get back senior. Probably when you started playing adult football, it wouldn't have been a big surprise to see these two clubs in the senior football final.
Yeah, that's correct, Peter, and they were 10, 15 years ago regularly contesting senior finals. Yeah, look, I'm sure the Anns are expecting a quick return to senior. They won't have it easy Sunday, or Saturday, excuse me, because the Duffry have been going well in both codes this year. Matty Flynn O'Connor is doing a great job up there. They lost the hurling semi-final, and I suppose they're the surprise packets maybe possibly to get to the intermediate football semi-final, but well deserved. They kicked 18 points against St Fintons in the quarter final last week, and came through a group that included Cushinstown and Gorey. So they're here on merit. However, I do fancy the Anns this weekend. Well coached team. Lloyd Colfer is coaching them this year, obviously. I was there myself last year, unfortunately, but Colm alluded to the sweepers, but it's a very well executed plan when done properly, and they'll score as much as any team. We obviously know the big names on the Anns side, the Dios and the Lee Moogs and whatnot, but a couple of the players that have impressed me this year, like Dylan O'Brien, has come in and is well able for that level. So there's a good support cast there as well, and good competition for places down there as well. So they're focused on the job, I would say, down there, and I'd expect an Anns victory at the weekend.
And I'd also expect a St Anne's victory. I think it might be a reasonably close game, but I think St Anne's will win today and possibly win the championship as well. And ahead of the second semi-final, we've had to move the lads in out of the rain here in Wexford Park, but the second semi-final is between Rathgarogue-Cushinstown and Ferns St Aidans in the Intermediate Football Championship. So Colm, we'll get your thoughts on this game first.
It's going to be a very interesting one. You have Cushinstown, who had great preparation, I suppose, with their run last year for the Intermediate Championship, and they performed really well. Ferns I wasn't overly surprised to see them beat Crossbeg. Ferns they can be a really decent football team whenever it's put up to them, and it's hard to handle Paul Morris. He's playing that withdrawal run and breaking from there. They need to find, I suppose, other people step up to the plate for scores. I think Ryan Nolan has scored 320 something at this stage in the championship, so they're going to have other people chipping in, because I suppose Cushinstown are going to be looking at nailing him down. So they're like a Bitsy O'Connor now and Ian Byrne. They're going to have to step up to the plate and get a few scores. If they can do that, I would nod towards Ferns, but I think it's going to be a close game. There won't be a whole lot between them at the end of it, but I'd be going for a Ferns win.
And Brian, who will you be going with?
It's going to be a close one, Peter. Ferns are probably, the split in the championship. If any club has benefited by it, it's maybe Ferns in the football. They probably haven't had a decent run at the football because of the senior hurling over previous years. They have a lot of good footballers. Ryan Nolan, Paul Morris, Ian Byrne. And they have that sort of senior hurling physicality as well. So that's a big help. Cushinstown are obviously on a great run for a couple of years now. The Duffry Rovers beat him there in the last group game, and I think that could be the first championship match they've lost in a couple of years. They have a good bond there, over the last couple of years, and Porter, Ollie Bulger still playing wing back there, and they're a good team, but I have a sneaky feeling for Ferns as well. I think Ferns, the physicality, and I think Ferns might nick it by a couple of points.
And David?
Yeah, certainly an interesting pairing is right. Certainly one that I wouldn't have predicted at the start of the year. I mean, Ferns were in the relegation final last year, but look at, they've obviously got their ducks in a row again after the hurling championship, and again, I think they've got Kevin Morris in from Castletown over them, and he's obviously getting a tune out of them. Cushinstown, fantastic run last year, and have continued it this year. I know they lost, as Brian said, to Duffry, but again, it was more or less a dead rubber insofar as they were both qualified, as far as I can remember. Quality on both sides. Ferns goalkeeper Ivan Mean, one of the best keepers in the county, and an absolutely unbelievable kick out, and also a free taking option. The usuals, Paul Morris, Ryan Nolan, absolutely flying this year inside in the corner. And then obviously a good support cast as well, Niall Murphy and the likes. Cushinstown, I like the brand of football they play. Again, James Bulger doing a fantastic job down there. Dara centre forward, Owen Porter centre back, the Codys, a few others as well, and they have momentum. Like, for me, I think the value is Cushinstown. I think for me, right before a ball was kicked in the intermediate championship, I thought Cushinstown were dark horses, and I still believe that. So Cushinstown for me. And
I can see arguments on both sides as to who's going to win this game, but I just think there's, same as David, there's just something about Cushinstown. I think they're very, very good at winning proper championship matches. I know Ferns had a great win over across the Beg Ballymurn the last day, but I'm going to go with Cushinstown.